Welcome back to my comfy couch. Good to see you again. This episode is about dating single moms. So, statistics show that over 40% of women in the US after the age of 25 have children. So, with all these single women walking around, you're going to most likely run into a single mother in the dating field. So, how do single moms navigate these dating fields? And how do men feel about dating single moms? Check this episode out and let us know what you think. Hi, welcome back to my comfy couch.
Yay!
Hey! Wait, look who's sitting next to me.
Yes.
As you can see, it's Nadia, not Thaddeus.
Hi.
Thaddeus is in time out. He is in another room. He is in time out for his behavior. And we have a guest on the show with us. Say hi to Rudy. Hi, Rudy.
Hi, Rudy.
How you doing?
Oh, good. Thank you for joining us, Rudy, today. So today, as always, we're going to start off with our card game, but today the topic is dating single moms. I was just looking at the statistics, and the Statistica actually just posted something saying that over 40% of women over the age of 25 have kids, right? Mm-hmm. And the number goes up to 80% by the time you get to the age of about 40s, in your 40s. So with so many single women out there, single mothers out there, guys are most likely going to experience dating a single mom. So the question is, how do we as single moms kind of navigate this whole dating field? And how do men who are dating single moms, kind of approach us and kind of deal with us and understand from a single mother's perspective? So this is something huge, and I'm so glad Rudy's able to join us and Nadia, so we can talk about this today, okay? So we're going to start with the card game. So the question today is, okay, so what is the closest safe distance to a former fling while you're in a serious relationship? So you're in a serious relationship, and this is someone that you used to have something with in the past. A, there's no such thing as too close, so there's no boundaries. B, platonic good friends. C, acquaintances who rarely speak. Or D, block calls, texts, and social media, including their mom. Again, if you are dating someone and you're now in a serious relationship, are you A, there's no boundaries for a former fling? Are you going to be platonic friends, B? Are you going to be acquaintances who just rarely speak? Or are you going to block them on everything, including their mama? All right, Rudy, since it's your first time on the show, tell me what your answer is going to be.
Let me start off by saying this. I'm big on friendships. And I feel like if I have a friendship with somebody, it's regardless of what our past was, I feel like that shouldn't end just because I've gotten into a relationship. So, I mean, I probably would just keep things the same, to be honest.
Okay, so you'd say it'd still be the same?
Yeah.
Okay, so you wouldn't pull back at all?
I don't think so.
Oh, what if she said, oh, no, I don't feel comfortable?
I've had that scenario happen.
And what did you do?
We broke up.
Wow! Okay, now. Wow. Okay. And to be honest, Rudy, did you guys still smash after the fact? Like when you were dating in a serious relationship, did you hook up with her once in a while?
Actually, no.
Okay.
She was more uncomfortable with the conversations that me and the young lady were having versus us actually being together in that way. Like we weren't intimate in that way, but she felt as though sharing information that I should have been sharing with her was a form of cheating, and it caused friction in our relationship. Okay.
And if it was in reverse, would you be okay if she had a guy that she was going to like that?
So on top of me being big about friends, I'm big about trust as well. Mm-hmm. If I trust you and you don't give me a reason to question your behavior, then I don't. If I have to question your behavior, it doesn't matter what level of friendship you guys have or didn't have. I mean, if I don't trust you, I don't trust you. It wouldn't matter if you were going to hang out with a friend from 30 years, from elementary school or whatever. I still would feel the same way. It just hasn't, if you guys haven't slept together, it just hasn't happened yet. So it really depends on where my trust is in you.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, what about you, Thaddeus? Are you Gonna do ditto? Do you agree with him, or how do you feel about it? What's your answer?
Yeah, I kind of agree with him there. I would keep them as acquaintances. Friends are friends. Like no matter what relationship status, what your current relationship status. If that was truly a friend before, you should at least keep them as acquaintance. Now, of course, we all know that the man woman friendship dynamic would make it. They said shun all appearances of evil. So if it's a friend where she's not that close and we could just stay acquaintances, we don't have to be talking and texting every day. I would keep it that way.
Okay, and if your girlfriend had a problem, would you dash like Rudy, or are you saying it in there?
Nah, I mean, I would just tell her like, listen, this is what I'm telling you. This is what it is. If she doesn't like it, then she could leave, but I won't like leave her for that.
Wow, we're gonna have a segment eventually about can men and women just be friends, because that's huge too. Okay, tell me, Nadia.
Well, I think it depends on how the relationship ended with that former fling. So if we just, we're dating and we realize like, oh, we're better off as friends, I can stay a platonic friend or acquaintance with them. And going into a new relationship, I will let my new man know, okay, just so you know, I have male friends. I wouldn't hide them. And I think that would be a part of what Rudy was saying about the trust. If you develop I have male friends from the beginning, then that person should be able to trust me and know how to move forward. And some guys really don't want their girlfriends having male friends at all, regardless if they're former friends and former flings or not. So I think letting them know in the beginning what should, build that trust. And if they want to leave, then hey, that's just.
So you're gonna let them leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would let them know it early on. It
Okay.
wouldn't be a year in, and I'm saying, oh, I'm on the phone with my friend I know for 10 years, and he's never known about him.
Okay, so. But the thing is that it's a former fling, so it's not just like the guys that are your friends, but guys that you've been intimate with. Still,
they should be able to trust me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know that this is like a hypothetical question.
Yes.
But another thing is I don't feel the need to share all of my sexual experiences or my past relationships with the person I'm currently with. And that was another conversation that me and her had at some point as well. And her thing was she didn't want to feel, her statement was she didn't want to feel crazy out in the street around other people, that she's dating me now and they may have had some sort of dealings with me in the past. My thing to her was, well, what does that have to do with our current status? If we're together, we're together. Let's focus on what we're doing right now and going forward. Worrying about what happened in the past is insignificant as far as we're concerned. I think people a lot of times give way too much information to people that is irrelevant information. I have no reason to tell you that me and this girl used to sleep with each other, or me and this girl were in previous relationships. That's my friend. That's all you need to know. As far as anything else, if she has a level of uncomfort with that, a level of that she's not comfortable with this other person that I'm telling you is my friend, then we can discuss it and we can discuss where the problem is. But ultimately, when I hear people say that they're uncomfortable with past relationships, what you're saying is that you don't trust me, because I'm the one that owe you my trust. It has nothing to do with the other person. So if you're telling me you don't trust me, then the relationship is going downhill anyway.
From the beginning, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's not that I don't trust the guys. I don't trust the girls. I know how conniving we can be.
Well, what's your answer to that? And I have a part B to this.
Okay, so my answer is that I would like to be acquaintances. I have dated a guy that was like, he absolutely did not want me to have guy friends at all. And he felt like women who had too many guy friends, like they just couldn't be, trusted. Faithful. Exactly. And no matter what I did, he didn't trust me eventually anyway. And it totally ended because of that very thing.
Right. It leaks into other parts of the relationship.
Yeah, but I do believe in not giving so much information to that person though. So I think there does need to be a limit where if you guys fight, you don't go to this friend and tell the friend about what y'all fought about and all that. So I think there still needs to be some kind of confidentiality between you in a relationship. So I think there has to be boundaries. I don't think it should stay the same. So thank you all for your opinion on that. Like I said, we'll do a follow-up show about friends. So getting into the topic for today. Okay, so based on the statistics, like I said, there are a lot of single mothers around, especially after the age of 25. So my question is, you two guys on the line, I want to know, what has been your experience dating single women, single moms, excuse me. I keep saying single women, single mothers. Let's start with you, Thaddeus. Overall, what's your feeling towards single moms?
Overall,
Yeah.
honestly,
Please be honest.
it's definitely a challenge dealing with single mothers. There's so many complexities that is thrown into the mix. So men and women already, we already have issues, right? Trying to bond, like that's already, it's already hard already. So imagine you take that, the dynamics between those two people, and then you throw on a kid, and then throw on another kid, and then throw on the baby daddy, and then throw on another baby daddy, and then think about the amount of complexities and what it would actually take to make that relationship work. If it was just me and you together, it was already so hard to work. Now you throw in an additional mix that makes it so much more complex, and that has been my experience.
Okay, that was a nice, clean way of saying PC. Thank you, Thaddeus. And that makes total sense, right? That's why we're having this discussion, because it's huge. How about you, Rudy? What's been your overall kind of sentiments about dating single moms?
I have to say it's been less than pleasant. I'll say that. But I don't think it's just a single mom thing. I think it's really just a mentality. You know, I've been doing a lot of reading about, being just being a man, period, and about issues between men and women, and how we have come to a point of such a large divide that even in dating, it's almost like a battle to get to some level of common ground. Like we're always at odds about everything. We can't even really communicate on a decent level. It seems like it's more of an argument, or everybody wants to be right, or it's always a challenge. I'm supposed to be the person that's helping you, and you talk to me like I'm the one that's hurting you. And you find that a lot in the dating world now. And I have my reasons for why I think that is. Just some of the stuff that I've read, and some of the things that I've encountered. I agree with what Thaddeus said about the different obstacles that you face with the children's father, which I've noticed that, and I hope no one misunderstands me when I say this, but women seem to grow an attachment to their child's father that's really unrealistic. And what I mean by that is, just because you had a child with somebody, that doesn't mean you're connected to them. The child is connected to them. You have no connection, no real connection with that person. Your connection was gone once you guys decided that you were no longer going to be a couple. If you're not going to be in a relationship and living in the same household, or whatever it is that you're going to do, then that relationship is over. But women seem to hold this I don't know, like these unrealistic ties to their children's father, that ultimately they're almost the narrator of whether or not your relationship with her is even going to be successful.
Wow.
So just my experiences that I've encountered.
Wow. So, okay. So when you say that they kind of hold the narrative, whatever, do you feel like, so what is it? Do you notice that, the guy is just so involved, they don't really have a say? Like what do you mean? Like, tell me, what does that look like?
So I know some very intelligent women. Like, a lot of the women that I encounter are very intelligent women. However, they allow their children's father to question their relationships with guys. Oh. And my conversation with them is always the same. If you believe that you are an intelligent person, and if you believe that he thinks highly of you, then how could he ever question your decisions? If he knows that you make good decisions for yourself and your child, why is he questioning who you're dating? What he's really telling you is that he doesn't trust your judgment in some shape, form, or fashion. Because that, again, you can only affect the people that you're in direct contact with. He has no contact with me. So he can't possibly know me as a person. So what you're saying is, whatever it is that she's doing, I don't believe that she's making the best decision for herself, number one. Even though you know, as ladies, you have children, I think sometimes it can get a little confusing that even though you have a child, you know you still got to live, right? You know, you still have a level of happiness you're supposed to have, right? So how can you let somebody else dictate who you date and how you're going to see him and all that other craziness that goes on?
Yikes. Nadia, have you had that experience?
No.
Me either. So I'm like, oh gosh, Rudy, where you at? Rudy, where? Well, no, maybe Thaddeus can second that. Thaddeus, have you had that experience with the women here?
Yeah, in some way, not as deep, not as I guess in depth as he did, but yeah, you do as a guy. It depends to the relationship with the mom and the I guess the baby's father. If let's say if they're local, I don't know if that's the case with you. Yeah, if they're local and they're in the kid's life all the time, yes, and that's natural for a guy, and I don't blame them at all. I mean, especially if I had a daughter, I would want to know which man my daughter is going to be around. That's you as a protector. That's you as a man. You're doing your job. There's an instinct for you is to protect your children. So of course you're going to want to question, women. And I know that he said that women, they're intellectual, but remember, women are also emotional. And a lot of times that they do things and there's not a lot of logic behind it. It's just emotional based. They might be at a point in their life that their emotions are just telling them that they just need someone right now. And that person may not be the best person for them right now, but their emotions are telling them that they need that person. And that person might not be the best influence for your child. And so of course you're going to step in. And that's why I always understand where the dad is, and that's why I'm never combative about it. I always try to be understanding, because if I had a child, I would be very, very, very concerned, especially if I had a girl, a little girl, who my little girl is going to be around, which man my little girl is going to be around. So I understand where they're coming from, but that is pretty much the experience out here. Like, I've had guys tell me plain and simple, like, you can't discipline my kid, and blah blah blah. Yeah. You hear it all the time. These are the experiences that a lot of guys have with of course dating single moms.
Okay, Nadia had a question.
I just have a quick question. What two? Rudy, do you have any children?
Nope.
Oh, okay. At what point, that is what you were just saying about someone saying you can't spank my children. At what point do you meet these men? Like, how long are you dating the woman before you meet the children's father?
I go like 6 months to like a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, because
they think
that's part of the discussion too. We can ask that question now. When do you guys think is a good time to meet, someone's children? You were saying.
I would say never. Yeah. Just don't do it. Tell me. Unless it's gonna be something where you guys think is gonna make it towards marriage and be something permanent and like a lifelong commitment. It's just like, why put that complexity? It's not good for you, because the thing is, like, now you as a man, you grow attached to these kids, like, because you do. And then now when it's time to break up, now it's like, now you have to extract yourself from a situation with both the woman and her kids. No, and then the second thing is, which is, this has to be detrimental to kids, because kids thrive on stability. And if all a kid is seeing is that guys just come in and out of your life all the time, I mean, imagine what that does to their psyche. Like, imagine what that does, especially to, like, I've dated a girl, and the reason why she was so messed up in the head, and she just really thought that this dysfunction was okay, is because she said she saw her mom have tons of boyfriends. So she thought that like that was okay. So I mean, so imagine how her life turned out. Like, imagine how her life would turn out if that's all you're seeing is, You know, they said, you know, like imagine you're like in 6th grade and you just see, you know, men coming in and out of your mom's bedroom like that. That can't be good for the kid.
As friends, right? Mommy's friends.
Uncles.
Uncles. Oh Lord, make it worse. No,
Yeah,
I agree with Thaddeus in terms of not introducing until you know, in my opinion, that this person is like legit, like marriage.
What if you wait a year or until borderline being engaged and the kid doesn't like him?
That's the thing, is that you as the adult, as the mom, do you think that you would make the best decision for you and the kid? What do you think?
I believe I would. I wouldn't date someone that hates kids.
Yeah, but what if they don't get along? What are you gonna do?
I think that we would need to date and live apart until my child's out the house.
Ooh, so you're gonna sacrifice that love, huh?
Yeah, but my children are older. So.
Wow. Okay. So Rudy, when do you think is the right time to introduce someone to their kid?
I pretty much agree with what you guys were saying about when an introduction should take place. I really think that it's important, and let me clean up what I mean by that. I really think it's important. Intention is important. Like, what is your real intention for dating this guy? What is your real intention for dating this young lady? And I mean, men and women alike, we both have to be serious, especially at a certain age. At a certain age, you know, the games kind of should go by the wayside. Right. And I mean on both sides, whether it be male or female. If you're dealing with a woman that has children, you definitely don't want to be, and if you're a stand-up guy, and I'm only really speaking, you know, in terms of stand-up guys. I'm not talking about the guys that still trying to figure out simple things about life. But why introduce yourself into this woman's life and this child's life, knowing that you have no good intentions for her, no longevity for her at all, and create an instability, just like Thaddeus was saying, because he's absolutely correct. Children thrive on stability, and they have an understanding that is very raw and basic. Their understanding is what they see and what they hear. We have a more intricate understanding because of information as adults. Right. But these children don't have that information. They're only looking at exactly what they're seeing. Multiple guys, on a man's side, multiple women. So what does that translate to? This is how life is supposed to be. Same thing with a woman who deals with abuse. You're dealing with abuse. Child sees that. What do they think? This is how mommy's supposed to be treated, or how women are supposed to be treated, or how men are supposed to be treated. So you really have to be careful with who you bring into your child's life for many different reasons, but also because it doesn't give the child a good shot starting off. And that's really what this is. It's all about opportunity, you know, for the child. And you brought up a good question, or brought up a good statement about what if the child does not like the guy, because that does happen a lot. Again, as a parent. Now, when I said I don't have any children, I'm kind of like the example that Thaddeus just gave. My ex-girlfriend that I told you I broke up with, for all intents and purposes, I'm her father. You know, she doesn't have that relationship with her father. As far as she's concerned, I'm the only guy who's really been instrumental in her life. And I still go get her to this day. And we've been broken up for over 7 years now, 8 years now.
Wow.
So I still, like I said, I'm still her father as far as she's concerned. You develop those relationships with children whenever you're dealing with the mother, and if you are a person who has good sense. But on top of that, I don't want to put it all on the guy either. As a woman, it is your responsibility to also educate yourself. You know when you're dealing with a guy that has a question mark over his head. If you know that, why are y'all introducing them to your children? Like, what is it? What you think? You're gonna introduce him to the child, and he gonna say, "Oh my God, I gotta stay here. The child is just gorgeous." It doesn't quite work that way. And one more thing, and I'm gonna stop. Again, I do a lot of reading. I'm understanding energy and vibrations a little bit more.
Right now.
Children are very in tune with vibrations. We ignore a lot of the things. We've been ignoring certain things for so long in life that we call it our intuition, vibes, energy, it's all the same thing. We ignore it now. It doesn't speak as loudly now because we've been ignoring it for so long, but for children, it's loud and clear. So a lot of times when you hear a child say, I don't like this guy or I don't like this girl, you have to really pay attention to what's not being said and why. And you're getting small pieces of that vibration too. You're just ignoring it. But that child is getting that raw form of vibration. You have to explore what is they're feeling. A lot of times they can't even tell you why.
Right.
But if you stay with that person long enough, what you'll realize is there was always something there that should have never been introduced into your life or that child's life. And now you've wasted your time. You've possibly damaged this child because now guess what? You got to move on to somebody else. And here we go with the same cycle again of people coming in and out of your life.
Okay, Rudy, but if we just said we're going to wait until we're serious and then the kid doesn't like him, then we start all over again. So when is the right time? Is it when you think, okay, this might be the one, before engagement? At what point then do you introduce them?
So if you wait until you are serious with that person, then my question to you is, what did you really get from them? Are you getting something are you getting a positive energy from this person? Is this person really taking those same steps that you're taking? Because again, women have a habit of being serious and the men have the habit of going along for the ride. A lot of times they're not as serious as the woman is. The woman is ready to put the dress on and walk down the aisle, and the man is ready to go get something to eat and go back to the hotel and go back home. So you have to really pay attention to what's not being said as a woman and be honest about what you're really feeling, regardless of what you really want. Sometimes I think women live in a dream world of what they hope things to be and the reality. You started this wasn't the right thing from the beginning, and you just decided to go with it because you hoped he would be this guy. He makes great money. He looks good. I love how he deals with his kids. And I think that this would be the perfect person. However, when you're around him, there's something about him that makes you feel like shit. I mean, seriously, there's something. You can't put your finger on it, but it's something. So you have to be honest about what that is. You have to be honest about what you're feeling. Now, let's say he meets the child and the child doesn't like him. First thing is this. Again, doing your own homework and being honest about what you're experiencing when you're around that person. That's the second strike or the first strike when the child says something, depending on the scenario. If your child doesn't like him, but you're still getting energy that's something positive, I hate to say this, but some of our children are negative. Some of our children really have problems. And because the children have some issues, what they're experiencing is a vibration that's not comfortable for them. So of course, they're going to say, I don't like this guy, because this guy has something that's challenging who they are at their core.
Yes.
And you have to figure out, is that the case or is it something else? But that doesn't mean the relationship needs to end, because a child needs to be a child and an adult still needs to be an adult.
Okay, so I'm loving this discussion. So it's like, know the person you're dealing with and those red flags and those feelings, those vibes that you get, don't ignore them just because you might be lonely or really wanting someone at the time. Mm-hmm. And know your children as well. If you know you have a badass,
but it could be a situation where you've been single so long, the child doesn't want to share you.
No, exactly. But the thing is, I think as parents, we know when our kids are really being serious, like they're really scared or concerned about something, and when they're just being a brat, So I think it's paying attention to that too. So Thaddeus and Rudy, knowing all these challenges, do you guys shy away from dating single moms now? Are they less desirable? Do you guys are like, ooh, she said she got a kid, ooh.
What do you think? If with all of the drama that we just explained, and I have the choice to get, let's say this 26, 27-year-old girl with no kids, like, and if I have a choice, why would I choose to go the single mom route? Why on God's green earth?
My question is a couple of things. One, based on the statistics, most likely you are going to date someone that's single mom. So it's slim chances that you're not going to end up with someone that has at least one kid. And secondly, isn't there some maturity and responsibility that comes along with being a mom? Do you feel that people that
Sure.
are mothers are more responsible, more,
Yeah,
on
but
it?
but the thing is, the upside is not worth the downside. For instance, if I get the younger woman without kids and she has a kid, then she will grow into that role, and I will be able to enjoy it at that time with none of the drama. This is our kid.
But you don't know what kind of mom she's going to be until she has a kid.
That's fine. I'll
You'll
roll
take
the
your
dice.
chances. Rudy, how
Um,
about you? Are you giving the single mom some love or not?
So I agree. I agree with most of the stuff that Thaddeus said. At a certain age, saying that you're going to meet a woman that doesn't have children is like finding a needle in a haystack. It can happen, but it's rare.
Right.
And so I want to speak on a comment that you made about a level of knowledge and a level of growth because the person has had children. First thing is this: I feel like there's a difference between being a mother and being a parent. Same thing is the difference between being a father and being a parent. Being a father is by default. You had a child. Being a parent means you've been instructive in your child's life. I think there's a big difference. Just because you pay child support or just because you take them out to McDonald's and watch cartoons with them, that doesn't mean that you are being a parent. Just because you yell at them when they get bad grades doesn't mean you're being a parent. Just because you take them to school or hope that they do well in life doesn't mean you're being a parent. How directive have you been in that child's life? What qualifies you to be a parent? Just because you have a child? Nah, that doesn't do it. Because I know a whole bunch of women that have children and they're moms, but they aren't parents. That's one part. The second thing is, and it speaks to what Thaddeus was just saying. I was listening to an older lady talk about the problem within the Black community when it comes to Black women and Black men dating outside of their race, right? And one of the things that she brought up is she's not saying that any other race is better than the Black race. But what she is saying is because of the struggles that Black women have had when it comes to relationships and life, they have a certain
level
disposition.
of disdain.
Yeah. They have a certain level of anger that, guess what? These other nationalities don't have because they haven't experienced what you had. So not only that, when like Thaddeus was talking about with a younger woman, by her being young, there are certain levels of things that she still hasn't experienced yet. And if you meet her at that point and you can deal with where she is right then, you have the chance to cut off some of that scornness or some of those problems that as a older woman that has children, you've experienced or you've taken part in. And it just makes the relationship so much better. A lot of times women think that men date younger women because of their youthfulness. That's just a small piece. Men don't want to, and I hate to put it this way, but this is the only way I can get it across. Men don't want a headache. They don't want to always feel like it's a challenge. Like, why do we have to argue about everything? Why does everything have to be a disagreement? Why do we have to fight about so many things? And again, it's not everybody. Everybody doesn't fall into that category. But when you look at 10 people, if it happens with 6, then that's the majority. That's enough to say, well, the other 4, I don't really need to see what the other 4 are going to do. The other 6 turn me off already. So I just think that it's a unique situation, and I mean, you can't help who you love. You can help who you spend time with, but you can't help who you love. And single moms, man, I do most of the women I've dealt with, matter of fact, if I think about it, I don't even think I've ever dealt with anybody that doesn't have any children. But there is a commonality in dealing with single moms. One more thing, then I'm gonna stop again.
Okay, go ahead, Rudy. Go.
One more thing. So this book I'm reading right now that I suggest every man, and I feel like every woman can benefit from it. And the book that I'm reading right now is called The Way of the Superior Man. And let me tell you something that they've said in that book that I agree with 100%. Something that I've realized about single moms is that in this world, they have to work and take care of their household. Well, the word that he used in the word that he used, or words he used to describe that is male essence or masculine essence. That's what he used, right? Because you have to deal with men so often as a single woman, you have to put on a level of masculinity that that works for you in the work world, right? Well, guess what the problem is? Most women don't know how to turn it off. They come home and they try to still be masculine with the man that they're with. So guess what happens? That sexual attraction is no longer there. Somebody has to be feminine. I'm a masculine man. I'm not going to be feminine. So this is where we start to bump heads. This is where we start to happen. And guess when you see it the most? Single moms.
So Nadia, what do you think about all those?
It's a lot to, think about. A lot of things that we don't usually, when I say we as single moms, may not necessarily think too much about, as far as single moms that I know personally, they're all in relationships. So I don't think, and most of them are, it's 50-50. They're with the father of the children, and the other 50% they're with other men, that are not the fathers of the children. So, but my friends are around my age, so most of our children are upper, teen and early 20. So
that's what I was gonna ask.
Different.
That's what I was gonna ask you guys, because does the age of the child make a difference? Because so the solution is to just date younger women. We see that there's a problem in the community. We see there's a problem in society. Is the answer just to trash these women and go with the younger women, or are we going to do something about it? That's the question.
Did we create the problem? Is the first question.
Did you?
I'm single and I'm childless. Yeah. Also, Rudy, he's single and he's childless.
Yes.
So we have done nothing to contribute to this.
Yeah.
So should we be the ones to clean it up, or should we go ahead and, since we have not contributed to the mess that is this whole, whatever it is that we have going on, should we not just take the easier route?
But the thing is that if you stay out of the conversation, when our kids grow up and they try to date your kids, who you think they're gonna start dating? It's gonna trickle down and affect everyone, because
my kids gonna date Rudy's kids.
Oh, really? Because by the time it gets to that point, we're already at 40. Now 80% are single moms at the time they're 40. So by the time our kids grow up, that people aren't staying together anymore.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hard to solve it, because I think what a big component of this whole discussion is, we have some of the old women, like maybe who are already single moms, and it's like I'm not hearing them screaming at the top of their lungs to the younger women like, this is the single most the worst mistake that you can do. This will ruin your life in so many ways. You do not, I'm not hearing that. All I hear is them, they praise, hey, I'm strong, I'm single, I'm independent, I don't need a man for anything. So you have the young girls looking at like, yo, I want to be strong, I want to be independent. This is a good thing. So that's why they don't see a problem with pumping out 1, 2, 3 babies, 3, 4 babies. That's it doesn't even dawn on them of how that affects them so negatively in life, until they're like 30 something, and then you're looking around, and now we're having these conversations, and you realize, man, a lot of the really good guys, they don't, especially the guys who have choices, like the really good guys, the one who have choices and they could date anybody. Why would they want to date a single mom if you really have choices? So I think that's one element that's missing from this conversation, is that all single women who have kids should be screaming at the top of their lungs and telling the younger ones, listen, why don't you just not make the same mistakes that I made? And so that we could go, that's the only way that we could fix this. Like,
that is the issue. You bring up such a good point, and I love that you're taking the discussion this way, because as a single mom with a daughter, you know, I try to tell her I didn't do it the best way, do it better. But then again, I don't want her to feel like she is a mistake, because with kids, when they're younger, you have to be real careful on how you tell them something, because if they feel like I was a mistake, then they are going to have issues growing up as well. So it's like a fine balance where you want.
I get it, but the thing is that you need to pump that message, because if you don't want to make her feel like she's a mistake, and you make her feel like, okay, well, what mommy did was okay. Yes, mommy may have made a mistake, but it's okay. And like, kids are going to grow up with that. Like, okay, well, it was just a mistake. Oops, like I spilled milk, like literally, right? You get it?
That is, some people don't spill it. They don't waste milk.
Exactly. and that's the problem. So it's like, you know, mommy just had a oops, and so that's why you're here. But nothing is wrong with it. You're fine. You're loved. And so the child grows up, and it's not a stigma as it doesn't bear the brunt, and like it doesn't receive the negativity that it should. Like, this is, I mean, like 50 years ago, this was unheard of. If you're a single mom, like, your parents would send you away because it would be like an embarrassment to the family. And now it's seen like a good thing. It's like, oh, you see a single mom? I'm a single mom too. Oh, single moms. Like, I'm telling you, but that's where it has gotten to. And unless we fix that image, like, this ain't never gonna change. Ain't never.
I mean, I can say for myself, you know, I have my daughter 18. And I raised her, letting her know that this is not the thing she would want to do, be a teen mom. And guess what she did?
Became a teen mom.
So, you know, because I was so much focused on trying to raise her and, you know, make her see myself. I set myself up as an example. You know, when she was young, I went to school, I got my college degree, and I did what I can do to instill in her being a strong person, you know. But I missed, maybe because I was a, you know, young mom, I didn't realize she was missing out on that father figure.
Mm-hmm.
So her missing out on the father figure, I was missing that part. You know, I was so focused on what I was representing to her that I didn't realize she was missing that. And then she wound up going out trying to find it in men, you know, and then she wound up being a teen mom because of that part that she was missing. So I can honestly say, I feel like, you know, we're doing the best we can with what we have, you know, and I did miss that part. Now she's 23 now, and I'm a grandmother at my young age. So I'm just saying, you know, I understand that. And that is something that I wish, what you're saying, I do wish maybe I could have done more of that when she was growing up, to let them know, you know, okay, this is not what you want to do. And I thought I did enough of it, but as you know, I didn't. But I did what I could do to raise her to be a responsible person, to get an education. You know, I tried to instill all those, you know, core values in her, but she was still missing something from her father.
But Nadia, that's the challenges, because my mom too did not marry my father, and you know, they broke up and everything. And I felt like she was so strong, like she handled everything. And I think that's the whole thing, is that even though we say, hey, you made a mistake, when they don't see us all falling over and, oh, I need a man, and they see us just kicking ass, they're like, okay, well, I could do it too. But the thing is that, you know, what can we do? We got to go out there and kick ass. We have to, you know, do what needs to be done. But what's the balance? How could they see me still killing it, but still feel like, okay, it's hard? You know what I mean? Right. So sometimes I do try to tell her, because she'll ask me randomly, she'll be like, Mom, is it hard to be a mom? You know? And I'll try to tell her, it is challenging. You see how I have to be up with you. I can't go do what I want to do and all this kind of thing. So I try to give her examples, but you're not going to be all soft and not do what you got to do, because you want her to see how hard it is.
Right.
So like, what am I supposed to do is the question.
Well, if you really want to answer to that, like the question would be to give her that environment that she really needs, which is mom, dad, stable nuclear family.
Yeah, but y'all not trying to date us. According to we're trying to do that, but you and Rudy.
No. Go get the guys who put you in that predicament. Trying to drag me and Rudy. We out here living our best life.
You know what's killing me? It's like guys that have kids too don't want to date single moms. You know what I mean? So it's like you laid down with the lady, gave her kids, and then you don't want to deal with somebody with a kid. It's like, what the heck?
Exactly. So that's to show you how difficult it is. And that's why I said you guys should be screaming that from the mountaintop, screaming it loud. Like, it's time that we finish, you know, all this girl power. You know, I can do it without a man. I'm good all by myself. Like, it's time to like quit all that. Be like, all right, we get it. We messed up. If we don't stop this, the next generation is going to be worse, because we see the numbers are rising, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so obviously, because like I said, it's seen as a good thing to be a single mom. And the bad thing is that, like, there's no level of accountability. If you have a kid, you can't take care of it. Guess what happened? Child support, government. So there is no, you know, there's no fear of becoming a single mom. It's like, if I can't do it, I got child support, and if child support doesn't cover it, I got Section 8, I got food stamp, like.
But like Rudy's saying, I think the problem is deeper. It's people not being able to get along, because nowadays, even when you do the right thing, you get married, the divorce rate is like, you know, what it is. So the whole fact that you actually end up with somebody and marry them does not mean you're not going to be a single mom either. I think, like with Rudy is saying, there's a deeper issue there of men and women just not being able to get along. And I think that's why I'm hoping with this show and other things like that, when we have these discussions, that men and women can understand each other better. And it won't be like we're at odds if we understand each other and try to get along. I think there's a deeper issue there, especially like Rudy was saying, in the Black community as well.
So one of the things, of course, you're going to have exceptions to the rule, but you know, I know a couple of different scenarios that have taken place where people have gotten married and in their heart they know they shouldn't have, but they did it because they were too far involved in the marriage process and they didn't want to turn away from it. I remember specifically talking to a friend of mine one day, and he hadn't been married, I don't think it was a year. He wasn't married a year yet, and he was already thinking about separating. So I said, before you got married, did you have any doubt in your mind? He said, man, actually, the night before, my wife, my fiance at the time, asked me, did I have any doubts about the relationship, that I want to stop? He said, I was a coward. He said, I couldn't tell her I wanted to turn away. He said, I went along with it because we were already so invested in this process. But my thing about that scenario was the fact that she even asked you, she knew that there was something that was wrong. It wasn't a fear. It was I shouldn't do this. And she could feel it. So she had the opportunity to make the decision as well. Just so happens they didn't have any children in common. So that was it was an easier break. And you're right, marriage does not guarantee you anything. However, as a woman, you have a responsibility. And your responsibility is to make the best decisions you can for your child. And in making the best decisions comes education. And when I talk about education, I'm not talking about going to school, because, I mean, I'm not talking about going to school. I'm talking about educating yourself on what it means to be a single parent, number one. Number two, what it means to raise a little boy, a little girl, and not just a little boy or a little girl, a little Black boy or a little Black girl, because there's different things that are going to occur when it comes to the origin of the child. Also, the statistics on, matter of fact, I got a book behind me that talks about, I think it's called I think it's Outliers or Blink, that talks about the statistics of what happens when a little boy or a little girl does not have a father in their lives. And when they talk about pregnancy in jail, the numbers are crazy when it comes to single parent, right? Versus when you have a two-parent household. But you have to be realistic about the decisions that you've made and what you're going to do going forward. And it has to come from you doing the education and doing the work. You can't rely on, you know, and let's be 100% honest. When a person says, I'm doing the best that I can do, are you really? I mean, realistically, how many books have you really read about being a single mom, a single Black mom? How many programs have you gone to that talked about being a single Black mom and what you can do to raise your child not to fall into the same category? And again, I think everything has to do with, a lot of things have to do with education. And if you're not really educating yourself, I mean, can you really be surprised with the results?
I love it. Okay. That makes me think, okay, we got to get some books, Nadia.
Okay.
We got to get some books.
My daughter's 23 now, so.
But you have a son now.
No, I have my son.
You have a son.
I'm just kidding.
The whole point is that we should be passing it on to the next generation. So you should buy these books for your daughter. So that your bloodline down the line, your lineage doesn't, you somehow could turn that around somewhere down the generations.
Right.
Yeah.
And let me ask a personal question, Nadia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to. Is the father in your daughter's child's life?
Or your son at this point, because now she has a young son.
Are you referring my adult daughter or my son?
Your adult daughter.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. I was a single parent, and he basically most of her life he was in prison.
No, not him. You said you're a grandparent now, right?
Yes.
Is the grandchild's father in his life?
Oh no.
See, like that goes back to what Thaddeus was saying. So this is a perfect opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to get some books and you guys read it together, get a better understanding of. And let's be totally honest. It's about having a good chance. That's what all this is about. Let's have a good shot. Let's try. Let's really try, not half-ass try. Yeah, I hope that this works because I want them to see X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. Let's give an authentic push towards what we really saying that we actually want, and read with the child. Create some type of dialogue. Hey, look, I got this book for myself and I sent you one too. I'm gonna bring one over. Look, once a week we need to talk. And we're not talking about no crap. We talking about serious things. Mm-hmm. We don't need to talk about no shows. Don't call me and talk to me about no Atlanta Housewives. Don't call me and talk to me about no shopping network, something you want to buy for Christmas or whatever. If you call me, let's talk about how we can better educate ourselves on what to do, what not to do, how to be a better single parent, what needs to happen going forward, how the children need to be raised going, past this point, and move on from there. Because if you don't do that, this is a cycle that will continue. It will not stop. There's no reason for it to stop.
Right.
Woo, I'm loving this discussion. Wonderful. So does the age of the children matter? Like Nadia was saying, she has a 23-year-old daughter. My baby's 8. And I have met a guy before that was like, guys are going to be hesitant to take on the male, side, especially like if he has an adult kid and you have one my daughter's in 2nd grade and he has one that's in 11th. It's like, okay, do you want to do the whole, daddy thing again? From you guys' perspective, if the kid is older, is that okay for you or does you just don't want kids, period? What if their kids are older, like in their, teens, 18, 19, 20, mm-hmm. They're off to college. Does that matter to you guys?
So for me, if the child is not a factor, then the child is just not a factor. However, everything is circumstantial. It's really no one size fit all type of answer. I know a young lady that she has a son, and I don't know what his issue is, but he has I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. First of all, as women, you guys have to really be careful how you raise young boys. Mm-hmm. Young boys will develop an attraction to their mother. You can believe what you want, but there are some young boys that really are in love with their mothers. They may call it something else, but they are. And you can tell because of the way that they deal with their mothers and the way that their mothers deal with them.
Is that what you call son husbands?
Yeah. stuff like that. Little statements like that. Yeah. So women will say stuff like that in joking, but it's not a joke. Because if that's your son, that's your son. He plays no other role in your life, and don't allow him to believe that he does. But I think her son really does have an attraction to her, but he's older now. And she said that every guy that she's dealt with, she's had an issue with her older son and the guy getting into it. And her older son doesn't even live there, but he will periodically come over and cause problems in her household. And I think she, at this point, has a level of fear of him because he's a grown man now. And I think don't take his medication or something. But whatever it is, it creates a major problem. So again, it's just circumstantial, depending on what that relationship looks like as far as, the older child and the mom. Some older children still think that they have a right to know mom's personal business. Now, granted, let's be clear. This is a crazy world now. Somebody needs to know who you're seeing or what you're doing. Make sure that you're doing that. But your children shouldn't be okaying who you go dating. All that does seem a little weird to me. But to each his own.
Thaddeus, what about you? Do you care about age of the kids?
Let me be very, very clear. So once you have kids, it's either you don't have kids or you have kids. So age doesn't matter, because every age brings new and interesting problems, right? For instance, a good friend of mine, I grew up with him from St. Thomas, and I read in the newspaper that he was shot and killed. Who was he shot and killed by? Is by his, he was living, with a woman, and she had a son, and they ended up in an argument, and the son ended up, killing him. So that's to show you. I mean, of course, this is the extreme case, right? So this is the extreme case, but this was an older guy. I think he was like 20 or something. And then of course you would have problems with newborn babies. That presents a headache. Toddlers present another headache, because kids, they give different issues, different stages in their life. So every stage of your life, you will find some new and interesting problems. The only thing would be, I tell people all the time, there's the only difference there is between 0 and kids. It's either you have or you don't have. And of course, if you have that, it doesn't matter what the ages are, it doesn't matter how many, it always presents a huge problem.
Well, what about the moms that their kids are well behaved, they're very manageable, it's not a headache for you?
It's not.
You don't give them a chance?
It's not as difficult, however, they're still difficult. Because there's no kid that's just well behaved. Like there are no, trust me, I have plenty of them. I got like 23 nieces and nephews. No kid is well behaved. None. I mean, some are more well behaved than the other, but to say that kids are just perfect little angels and they never, come on, you and I know better than that.
Okay, so Rudy and Thaddeus, what do y'all plan? Y'all just gonna date 20-something-year-olds until y'all turn 40, 50? Y'all still gonna date the 20-year-olds until you find your...
So in saying all of that, going back to what Rudy said, he was realistic, knowing that, hey, at some point in time, especially if you're dating older women, they will have kids. Right. So in my opinion, it's just, I'm just waiting for the message to filter down to women so that they can understand that what they're coming with and what they're presenting themselves with, it's not the most desirable position. So you have to be willing and able to make it up in some way to make it beneficial so that I can want to get with you. Otherwise, I'm just looking at you as a liability. Not only you're your liability, now your kids behind you are a liability too. So if I could meet a woman who, and actually I have met a girl who understands that. She understands being a single mom is not the most, it's not the best situation that she could be in. So she's willing to do other things to make it up. If you find that, and yeah, maybe willing, but if not, then
Nadia wants to know, and I want to know, what are the other things? What can she do to make up for that?
Huh?
What are these other things?
What can she bring to the table?
That's another show.
Trying to figure out. But I'm saying, when you first meet someone, how do you know that they're doing? What can they do initially to go the extra mile to make
you could tell, first of all, the attitude. A lot of time, like you said, especially black women, they have this disdain for black men. Like y'all, like we're not on y'all level. Like, it's black queen, and I am enough, and I am this, and I am queen, and I'm woman. Like, and it's like black men, no, y'all down there, and y'all need to get on my level. If she off the bat, if she comes with that attitude, no. But if she comes with a willing and an open spirit, like, hey, I'm here to bring value to your life just as you bring value to my life, then yeah, that's something I would be willing to entertain.
But that's the thing, is how would you get, like Nadia said, off the bat, like if you already see she has kids, do you already put her in a certain box? Or
yeah, definitely. You automatically, you have kids, you automatically go in that box. For you to get out the box, no, you have to do something extraordinary.
But how can she get close to you if you already put her in the other box? No, I think you guys should be real, for real. And I'm glad that we have kids and you guys don't. So we can see, like, we're the exact people that need to be on this conversation.
Right. I know a lot of stuff that Rudy and Thaddeus are saying, I never even, have thought of before, because I tend to, maybe it's my age group, but I don't usually meet men without any kids.
Exactly.
So,
well, yeah.
Yeah, because it's I'm like, I don't usually, or their kids are adults, but usually the men I've come across, they've already, they already have kids. They don't have infants or anything, but they have kids, or they've been married and had kids. I understand, what, I don't remember who was saying about, you have this baby daddy and this baby daddy, but some men have that too. They have 5 kids and 5 baby mamas, So,
and if you choose not to deal with them, I wouldn't fault you either.
So, but I think it's more, I think women, we are more understanding when we meet a guy with kids than like how they are not as understanding. But it could be because we have children.
Exactly, because we live with them. They live with us. The guy.
It's more of a biological thing, right? Even if you look in the wild, let's say if a male lion and he's taken over a pride, he kills all of the cubs because he wants his seed to be to live on to the next generation. He doesn't want to raise another man's kid. Like, no guy wants to do that. That's just in our, that's just our DNA. That's how we're made.
Ooh, all right, now. I had some other questions, but it's like you guys already shot it down. It's like, okay, is there a cutoff on the number of kids? That is already like 0. It doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But it's funny, and I'll just say, I always see more women, single women, that have maybe 1 or 2. I think single moms that have 1 or 2 kids, but then I see single moms that have 5 and 6 always have a man. And I'm just like,
that's how they got the 5 and 6.
But I mean, they're not the father of any of the kids. So I always wonder, like, why is, that has crossed my mind before I've seen that.
So having a man is not the hard part.
Exactly.
The thing that's difficult is finding somebody that's going to be a life partner if that's what your interest is. If your interest is just to have fun, then I think everybody can find somebody to have some level of fun with. People have to be honest about what it is they really want as well. A lot of times people get involved in these different relationships and their wants change from, well, I just want to have fun. And, oh, you know what? I thought about it. I really want to be married. But yeah, you do realize that we started off as just having fun. So why do I have to shift because you've shifted at the moment? So, you have to be realistic about what it is that you want, how you plan for this relationship to go. And if things have changed, then you move on to something else. Another word that I feel like people have to take in consideration is called accountability. Everybody wants somebody else to be the reason why they are having the problems that they're having. When in reality, if you are accountable for the reasons why you're having certain issues, it starts to make you have to do work. Because now what you're saying to yourself is, all right, yeah, this person did play a role, but I can't control them. I can control me. Going forward, I don't think that I want to deal with this type of person. Or how about no unprotected sex? That works too, right? You know, things along those lines are also options as well. But you got to be accountable for your actions.